Hello all dragon riders out there, and welcome to Dragons 101. And the dragon we're gonna be looking at today, yes, you guessed it, it's the Whispering Death. Now, this dragon is probably one of the most badass dragon in the series of all time. Not only does it look really terrifying, it is also the arch enemy of Toothless, which makes it a really grim dragon. But if we take a look at the model in School of Dragons, it looks just like it's supposed to when you just see it like this, sitting or standing, whatever you say. This dragon doesn't have any legs at all, looking really snake-like. It looks really terrifying, looks great, the wings are moving excellently, naturally, head movement, the jaw is slightly opening and closing, looks really good. The tail also looks really natural. Now there is a glitch about this model. When you turn the camera, there's this spike sticking out on one side, but then when you turn the camera around, it's not on the other side. So there is just this little glitch with the spike layer of the model. But it's a minor detail. It's not something you will notice all the time. And when he moves, he looks absolutely fantastic. He has these like snake moves, which looks really gorgeous when he's like slithering along the ground, and that looks absolutely fantastic and gives him a really creepy feeling, a snake-like feeling, and it really suits him in a creepy and excellent way. If I have to say so myself, the wings also kind of fold closer to the body when he's doing this, and it just looks supernatural. So definitely some point there for the Whispering Death because it looks amazing. Now for the flying, there are a few things about the flying that is a bummer, so to speak. First off, the tail doesn't go all the way around like in a spiral, like we've seen in the series where the tail is like a spiral when it's flying. Also, the wings stop flapping at a certain point and start gliding, and in my opinion, a dragon like this with such a big head and such a relatively long and large body and such small wings wouldn't be able to glide like that without falling down. And the jaw of the Whispering Death is open all the time. Its mouth is just like open, which makes it look kind of stiff in it. There's no movement there whatsoever. The teeth doesn't even move. There's nothing there. It looks kind of dead, well, basically. And beside that, when you're flying, just see him from the back, it looks okay, the flight. I personally am not impressed with it. It's very stiff. And he looks like he's suffering, especially when he's flying upwards, because the jaw is just open and the dragon just looks like it's about to die. Because it really looks like it's suffering when it's flying up. So that's a shame, but I suppose maybe that's just the whole idea of the Whispering Death, that it's a dragon that's so evil that it's also in pain all the time. I wouldn't know, but to me it seems a bit weird. However, when it dives down, the tail does like a snake move, which I think looks cool, like it's almost slithering its way in the air, and that looks cool. I've got to say that looks cool. But let's take a look at the stats of this horrifying dragon. The stats of the Whispering Death are surprisingly good. The max speed is 10, which is the highest you can get, and the pitch rate is 7, turn rate 7, and acceleration 7, which is a bit above average, so it actually has quite excellent stats. But let's take a go in the Thunder Run racing and see if these stats actually add up. When you are flying with the Whispering Death in the Thunder Run racing, his performance, or hers, is, in my opinion, average. It's not spectacular. It turns really well, you gotta give it that. The speed is good and steady, but you don't really like fly ahead of the others or have any particular advantages or anything. So he is average, on the same level as the Thunder Drum, maybe even the Deadly Nadder, and so on. But he's not a bad racer. He's acceptable, definitely, and you can definitely use him for racing. He's way more suitable than, for example, the Grunkle or the Monstrous Nightmare or other dragons like that. So he's definitely suitable for racing. You can definitely use him for flying in these races. guess that's it for the Whispering Death. It's a somewhat disappointing model, but it also has some nice features to it, so I would definitely say that it's worth picking up because it's a very fearsome dragon. In this game, probably one of the most horrifying you can get. So he's definitely still an interesting dragon, even though he have a bit of whoopsies, or so to speak. A lot of things that I like a bit of, in my opinion, but he's definitely still cool. So thank you for watching. And don't be afraid to leave suggestions of which dragon you want to see next. And as always, I will see you next time. So long, Dragon Riders!